just to give you an outline of what we're going to do today, I'm going to show you a 4-step process. Simple, it's easy, it's fun. For one of the steps, you got to get real. That's the only stipulation. You got to get real about your feelings. You don't have to necessarily even share them. That's what's great about this. But you do have to be honest. You have to be honest throughout this whole process. And that's all it is a series of truths put together in a certain way that creates a recipe for healing. And if you really wanted to look at the hows and whys and where all these steps came from, the philosophy, it is probably equivalent to 1,000 years of knowledge, really, that have trickled down from many different masters of different origins all over the world. And all we've done is simplified a few of those lessons and put them into a simple step-by-step process that allows you to organize your thoughts and emotions when you're in a state of chaos. Or if you're in a state of we gotta laugh. I struck a nerve. New record. It was about 60 seconds in. But I mean, quick survey, is our world in a state of chaos?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we can either sit by and watch it happen, or we can do something about it. So that's what we've chosen to do. You'd be surprised how simple this really is. And all we do is shed some light on a couple of things that we've all had questions about. And you will literally solve your own problems. You will literally learn how to heal yourself. You'll learn how to create light in the darkness at any point in your life. You will learn how to self-coach. You will self-teach, because we're moving into the era where the guru and the establishments and the things that we turn to govern us, we're moving out of that, and we're moving into a new age where people govern themselves, and we connect to spirit on our own, and we don't ask other people's permission. So we need tools for that, and our parents didn't teach us, and we'll never learn this in school. Nothing in here it doesn't matter if you're going to IT Tech or Harvard or the most expensive private school. One thing they never teach us is how to identify our emotions and how to organize them and how to control those. Humans, we make all of our decisions based on emotion. So when we allow those to take over us, that's when we create chaos. So the foundational belief that we're going to talk about is the difference between love and fear. Okay? Because I feel like one of the most crucial things that we learn, or we will learn today, is the difference between love and fear. The way that we've been taught through Hollywood is that love is, carnival rides and Hallmark cards and fireworks and candy. And we've been taught that fear is something else. It's a terrorist. It's a dog. It's our past. So we've kind of been taught that they are these things, but really they're emotions that we attach to these things. It's energy. Everything in the universe is energy. So at this base level, everything is this energy, and your body is a natural barometer to tell you when you're in a space of love and when you're in a space of fear. Right? So ever been to a house and you just get a bad vibe from the second you walk in? Right? So we've all had that experience. How about, have you been around a person? You've never met them in your life, but you're just like, I love them. I do not know why. I know them probably from another life, and they just make me feel good. I'm going to stand closer to them. Or have you ever had a child or an animal take really well to a total stranger, but then be shy or defensive around a family member? Okay, so what's happening is as children and animals especially, have a heightened sense of vibration. They don't have the same experience as us. Their nerve endings and all the things that we use as shields to shield us for energy as we grow up A lot of that hasn't grown in yet. So they have this really keen sense of positive and negative or high or low vibration stuff. So if you look at your handout, this one right here, this is a really simplified version of the human condition. And for the really emotional people, they're going to be like, well, it's not that simple. Because when we're emotional, it's the opposite side of the logic. But if the logical brain were to map out emotion, this is what it would look like. And so this is called emotional intelligence. And I'll show you a couple of slides really quick about emotional intelligence. Let me see, where are we? Emotional intelligence. Where am I? We're in the fundraiser. Where are you? Oh, there we go. Okay. Really cool quote by Daniel Goldman. Out of control emotions make smart people stupid. How many people here are smart? How many people have made stupid decisions? Great, we're all in the same boat. We're going to get along just fine. So here's a really cool statistic. Emotional intelligence, so basically being in touch with your own emotions, is responsible for 58% of your job performance. Isn't that crazy? 90% of top performers have a high EQ. They understand their emotions, they know how to identify with them, whether they're positive or negative. Knowing that you're in one space or another is basically the equivalent of being on another level of consciousness. $29,000 per year is what the average person with a higher EQ makes than somebody who has a low EQ. So I'm stepping out of the hippie space. I'm going straight into like, this is affecting your life on a financial level. Here's a perfect example. Guy freaks out on his boss because he can't control his emotion. Half the time we freak out about stuff that isn't even real. But we act, and now that's real. And now the consequences are real. So that's where the whole shift before you create, if you've seen any of my Facebook pages, you've seen my nonprofit program I teach to kids in school. It's called Shift Before You Create, and it's based on that. It's like it's okay to be angry. That's the coolest part. We teach people it's okay to be sad. Just don't pack up and leave there. And sure as heck, don't make any big decisions in that space. Don't call your boyfriend, don't call your boss, don't post on Facebook. Right? Just take yourself out of the picture for 5 minutes and look at what you're going through and honor it. Be okay with it, cry, throw something, yell at a tree, I don't care, but just don't do something that's going to permanently affect your life. Like pretty much everybody who's ever gone to prison, you think they were operating from a space of love when they robbed that bank? You know, or hit that guy with that pipe or whatever? So there's a perfect example of people who wish they knew this rule. It's rule of thumb, shift before you create. I like this one. We think the enemy is fear. Or the enemy is fear. We think it is hate, but it is fear. That's Gandhi. I think you've heard of him. Does anybody want to read that out loud?
Sure. No. If there is light in the soul, there will be beauty in the person. If there is beauty in the person, there will be harmony in the house. If there is harmony in the house, then there will be order in the nation. If there is order in the nation, there will be peace in the world. That's awesome.
And so it is. Does anybody disagree? Cool, we're still going to get along. A lot of like-minded people in here. I love it. So I've said many times, and I'll say it again, I can't stop two people from fighting, but if I can show each one how to find inner peace, they will naturally lose the motivation. So that's my mission. All right, so really quick, by show of hands, when you look at this list, what word under the fear category sticks out to you? Which one strikes a nerve?
Disempowered for me.
Disempowered.
Yeah.
So it's not just a word, is it?
No.
There's a story connected to that, huh?
Yeah.
There's a whole lot of stuff going on.
It's a journey.
It's a journey. Yeah, learning lessons and mistakes and...
Yep.
Okay. Absolutely. Anybody else? Who's next?
Guilt and self-judgment.
Guilt and self-judgment. So there's a story behind that. Is it a short story? Is it a long story?
It's a long story.
Is it a repeating story?
It is.
Okay. So humans have a tendency to repeat their history until when?
Until they figure out how to not repeat it.
There you go. Till we learn. So in a way, challenges might be our best teachers yet. And what we've been taught many times is that there are punishment or our karma, and I'm not on that bandwagon. I feel like this place is crazy and is horrific and as tragic as things can get here. I still believe, and I've been through plenty of tragedies of my own, I still believe that love is the answer and that this is a school, not a prison. So as long as we approach life as, okay, you got another learning lesson, and the good news is it's probably because you've mastered something. Every time I figure something out, the universe is like, okay, like let's step it up a notch. It's like, ah. Like I had inner peace all figured out, and then I had kids. Not exaggerating. I had inner peace figured out. I mean, I could be in the middle of Walmart. I could be driving in traffic or stopped in traffic. I could be in the middle of a full-blown conflict or a argument on Facebook, and I always had that center. And then you know what? You have kids, and you're just like, get that out of your mouth. I've told you like 4 times, and like I feel myself start to move away from my, because I'm in judgment. So that's my lesson. And then I'll master that. I mean, divorce, that taught me forgiveness and patience. 10 years. I mean, if I can learn to not let that person make me angry anymore, I can do anything. Now this whole world peace thing is totally plausible. Does that feel right? Does that make sense? Okay, because we all have our challenges. And for some of it, it's school. And for some of it, it's our exes, or it's a death in the family, or divorce, or our diet, or a disease, whatever. So one thing that all challenges have in common is the energy. So whether I have a flat tire or I'm in the middle of a divorce, frustration is frustration. The only difference is the magnitude. One might be much stronger, but it's the same frequency. It's like a radio. That's channel 97.8, and sometimes the volume's high and sometimes it's low. Okay, so that's your crash course in EQ. This can also, I recommend putting this up somewhere where you see it every day, because this is a very quick go-to tool. You can look at this at any time, and you can say, you know what, today I'm feeling, I don't want to do anything. And you can boil that down to avoidance. And you can say, you know what, if I want to get through my day, I might need some courage. Really quick way to shift. It's like, well, if my problem is jealousy, then I need to find trust. If my problem is judgment, I need to learn acceptance. Boom. Now, for the other challenges that aren't so easy, I have a process that I not only learned, but now teach, which assists me in learning even more. If you really want to know something, teach it. So I call it the Peacemaker Method. In the past, if you look on Facebook, I called it the process at one point, but it sounded like so much work, process. So I was like, Peacemaker Method. Peace, cool. This is a tool that I have memorized, my girlfriend has memorized, because we've done it so many times. And you'll get there, but in the beginning, I highly recommend writing. And even with it memorized, we still write because there's power in that. Like when a pen hits paper and the ink comes out, that's a manifestation. And so whatever energy you're putting it into it is what will come out. Nothing is created without pen hitting paper. You know, you don't etch lines, borders around countries. You don't fly a rocket to the moon without making a schematic. You don't sign the Declaration of Independence. You don't create a die for a sword without a pen. So it really is powerful. And there's a reason why back in the day they called these spell books. You know, what do we learn? What do we learn in school? How to spell? Get it? Yes, they teach us how to spell, and no, don't curse. And those are opposites. So spells and curses.